Rusty Bryant, Fire Eater, opening up Mindless Idiots, episode 3. Although it should be singular, there's only one mindless idiot here in the studio here today. Nick is getting an education at Bowling Green, last I heard. But I guess it's just going to be us. Let's come over here. Yep, it's good to be here, back in the old MVCC studio. The first time I've been in this studio to do anything this year, 2024. Happy New Year. I gotta stretch 1 second. Okay, I think I'm ready. All right, so this time around, since I pretty much, got the camera hostage and everything, I wanted to talk about this little publication that I've been doing for about 2 years. It's called Faux Paneling. Yep, that's what it's called. This is issue 1. There's, 4 issues so far. And issue 5 is on the way. And I'm very excited to bring that to you today. Not the full issue, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a behind the scenes of how the zine came together. But first, this isn't quite a manifesto, but from issue 1, I wrote a little something. Firstly, that it was dedicated to Liberty, a friend of mine, the members of the Richard Meltzer fan club, and friends in Japan, Washington, Oregon, and Ohio, and elsewheres. Elsewheres, at this point, means Montana. Yeah, I got some friends in Montana. A couple of them have picked up the zine since I started publishing this thing. Anyways, I also say, will there be more? We all know about supply and demand, and we want a world that don't exist. Best, Wade T at The Good Marty. That's my handle on Twitter. You probably saw it in the introduction. And that was February 2023, almost a year ago. So not quite a year ago, I started putting this little venture together. So you might still be wondering, it's like, okay, he's got a magazine, Faux Paneling, what is it? Well, it's basically me rambling about music, movies, vacations that I've taken, and just anything that really comes to mind. But it's also a part of the Richard Meltzer fan club, and that's one of the key things that it's tied into. I'm wearing one of the fan club button pins right now. I want to thank the Greene County Library for hooking me up with a button maker. I can make stuff like this. Want to get a zoom in on that? Yeah, there it is. Yeah, the old Gulcher pin. Gulcher is a book by Richard Meltzer, and I decided that a Gulcher would be a fan of Richard Meltzer, and hence that's why I made button pins that say Gulcher on them. That being said, it's not totally in hero worship of Richard. I got other heroes as well, local heroes, like in issue 2, for instance. This little guy right here. My buddy Zach Thompson. He actually contributed something, which is a game that he's developed. Do you know anybody that's ever made a board game or like an outdoor kind of like pastime kind of game? I don't know what the official term for it is, but anyway, his game is called Third Bag, and we created a history for this game. It's actually a fake history that we developed together. It's sort of like a funny version of the game's history, because it's actually quite, I don't want to say uninteresting how the game came about, but it could use a little pumping up, so we pumped it up. And then included with issue 2 were the instructions for his game. It's called Third Bag. Right there, the rules of play. And there's Zach Thompson, the third bag man. Very cool guy. Maybe we'll get a call from him later, I don't know. But third bag, rules of play. This is what's called a mini book. It's actually very easy to make stuff like this. It's one sheet of paper that you print on 8 different parts, and then you make a little slit, like a little hole, and then you can fold it back up, and that makes a little mini book. You can do it on just like a regular piece of computer paper. Pretty neat, huh? Moving on, issue 3. I think this one came out in August or September of 2023, something like that. I think this is the issue where I decided to review some anime. I was watching anime for a couple months. I think I still pay for some anime app subscription thing. I should probably cancel it. But it had some pretty fun stuff going on for it too. The biggest thing was Our Sabulous Time, which is a vacation that I took in was it South Carolina? Yeah. And I just took a bunch of photos and cropped them together. And you might be wondering, it's like, wow, how does one create their own little magazine? Well, before we get to issue 4, I'm going to show you a little bit. I got this thing here. It's the Faux Wood Paneling Workshop. And it's just a box filled with some stuff. Some of the key things that I use are funny little pairs of scissors. Like, you get these in like grade school, right? Okay. Another big tool in creating a zine, Elmer's washable school glue sticks. And you're probably familiar with these. It's hard to, one second. Ooh, there's a hair on that. It's probably a cat hair. Sorry, you guys. But anyway, it looks like lipstick, chapstick, but it's Elmer's glue, so don't use it like it's chapstick. But this is really useful for zine making, putting zines together. Is there any other tools? Pens, Sharpies, those are all pretty important. The paper in the Xerox machine is probably your biggest challenge in putting a zine or a small publication together. But if you can get access to such a thing, I recommend the local public library. They helped out with the button pins. They also help out with, creating good print product. And, their hours aren't that flexible, but hey, it's better than nothing. I guess I'll show you issue 4, the last one. The biggest one yet at 40 pages. Wow, 40 pages if you guys can believe it. What did I do for this one that was pretty good? A lot of guests were in this one. Some people that I'll remain nameless for now. Maybe I'll put them in the comments of the video when it's up. But, had a lot of guest contributions, some interviews, an ad featuring me as a child. That's actually me as a kid on a button pen. I have no idea what the history of that, like how this was made, but I thought it was pretty interesting. You want to see it again? Yeah. You too could sponsor a child in a third world country, or a village rather. That's me. And that's this is me when I'm older too, in the camo. But anyway, I don't want to make it seem like this is all about me or whatever, but it kind of is. But you could be a part of it too if you're a writer, photographer, and you're local. Even if you're not local, you just see the video and you're interested in participating, just let me know. Then we finally get into the workings of, right? So once you get your tools you get like pieces of paper and you cut everything out, and you arrange it, and you glue it all together. A lot of the stuff that I write in the first issue especially was all typed. So I'd use the Smith Corona typewriter. And I love it. It was the first typewriter that I've ever actually used wholeheartedly. I had 2 electric typewriters before I got this one. But this, I actually like this manual typewriter. It's big, it's heavy. You could put hard stock paper into this and it'll just be marvelous. You know, I don't really know what else to say about it except a good heavy typewriter is the best typewriter you can use. One where you're really punching the paper around. So, I like it. Oh, I should drink out of this. Okay, so, when you're putting stuff together, you got like all this paper here, and here's an example of a sheet of this mini book that is not cut up, is yet to be used. And then, because it's called faux wood paneling, I decided to use faux wood panels. So when I want a background for something, or I want to start a piece or end a piece a certain way, I'll use this as sort of the background. Different faux wood paneled scenes from different people's houses. Some people have volunteered sending me their own faux wood paneled walls, faux wood paneled images from anywhere, and I've used them since in the magazine pieces, which is nice. So, issue 4. Here's some examples of some backgrounds. My assistant helps me put these together. She does them completely. Here's another one. And so, you just put stuff over it and in the way that's most pleasing. This is probably going to be the cover. Yeah, number 5. So, I don't know if I should explain everything that's on it, but that's the artist, Peter Laffner, and this here is Laurel Nakadati. And then up here, United Dairy Farmers is over there. That's where I like to get ice cream and gasoline. It's one of my favorite spots to get gasoline, so I figured it deserved to be on the cover, Okay, part 2. This was actually a gift to me at Christmas time. I really like this design from my friend Tori Wilson. She designed this, and I thought it was so cool, and it looked faux wood paneled, and I'm sure that's not an accident. So I figured I'd include that to be the back cover. It's still undergoing some changes, but there's more pages here, including this thing, which is my interview with Craig Bell. Don't want it to be too bright on that, but Craig Bell, he's this guy. He was a guitar player, is a guitar player, bass player, in many different bands of note. But he was also the writer of a very good song called Final Solution, at least a co-writer. He's a good pal with Eddie Flowers, who's in this band in Indiana called Heavy Mother. He's like their head avatar. So, very fun guys to hang out with. But anywho's, I think that's about the end of the show and tell for faux wood paneling. Pretty much the guts of how it's made. Oh yeah, what's this? Zoom in on that. The Richard Meltzer Fan Club, boys and girls. Be sure to check it out on Twitter. X, Elon Musk land. I'd move it somewhere else, but I just put so much work into it so far. I'm thinking about moving things over to archive.org. I don't know if you're familiar with archive.org or not, but it's a really good internet platform that's run mostly by the public library system. So I highly recommend checking that out too. Oh, I forgot to mention, issue 3 came with some CDs. I called it the Faux Wood Rock Mix. There we go. And Faux Wood Assemblage. They're just some mixes that I put together, probably like 10 to 15 songs. And I needed something to give out with my product, which brings me to the next piece here, piece de resistance. This is some newsprint, classic newsprint, another part of the show and tell. This is a magazine called Take It. It came out, I want to say 80 or 80 something or other. Is there a date on this? Hard to tell. Anyway, what I really like about it is that, it's this just giant piece of newsprint. It's got really cool stories in it. Richard Meltzer's piece is about sumo wrestling. He really got into sumo around this time. And I think this is just one of the coolest articles ever. It was at this point where he was working for this Japanese paper in Los Angeles, and they had sent him these tapes of things to review, and they were sumo tapes, and he'd never seen sumo before. So it was just about the pleasure of discovering the sport of sumo. But the reason I wanted to bring this up is because in every issue of Take It, there was a flexi disc. And sight unseen, I don't know what's on this. I thought maybe we would see what this is like, this flexi disc. Collectors, you should be crying right now because I just damaged the newsprint. Ooh, it's got tape all over it. I guess it'll play just fine.
What's the history of a flexi disc?
Okay, so I really don't know too much about the history of flexi discs, but they've been making them for a good long time. I don't know when they got started. Oh gosh. Now this is just a poor job. Some of these, they're only sticky on one side. This one's sticky on the actual playable side, but we're gonna try it anyway. Since this album's over. Oh, sorry about that. That's okay. I'll put it back on. So this one here, it's got The Mutants, Message to the World, and Half Japanese with Heart and No Danger. Whatever that means. Those names of some tunes. Let's go ahead and drop it. See if it plays. I may have... It's thinking about it. Huh. Well, that's strange. Let's flip it over. Maybe it's all on the back. I think that's what it is. Okay. Indeed it is. Let's try another one. Wow, that's good quality music. Ugh. So anyway, you could be excited to hear stuff like that on my CDs. I'm just kidding. My tastes vary. But anyway, still, like something like this is kind of precious, you know? You don't really get to see too many of these in the wild. But let's end with some other record. What else do I got here? Oh, yeah. This Errol Garner's pretty nice, but I think I played him before. So I'll just go with Cecil Taylor. He was a jazz man, piano guy, with Archie Shepp, Clark Terry, Roswell Rudd, Steve Lacy, Charles Davis, Billy Higgins, and Dennis Charles. I think two of those guys all together. But we'll go ahead and play a little bit of it. So, I don't really need to talk turkey too much, but, I can't really talk turkey here on public access television, but if you are interested in one of these zines, I recommend you check out fauxwoodpaneling.com. It's a faux wood paneling website. Don't mix it up with any actual places that sell faux wood paneling. This one's a magazine. And each issue will come with, if you're a first-time reader, one of these button pins here. Something like it. Sometimes they're white, purple, black, They vary. I like to put them on baseball cards, which is why I brought them over here. These baseball cards. I'll show them to you. So, I used to have a box of these cards. When I was a kid, my aunt gave me these Topps baseball cards. 1988, year I was born. And I found a box for like $5, and I remembered, it's like, wow, I had that box when I was a kid. Around the same time, I was sending letters to people with these button pins in them, and the backs of them with like poke envelopes and letters and stuff. And I didn't like that. I thought that was kind of trashy. So I would end up taping something like this to a button pin. That's too short. I need a longer piece of tape. That's too long. You don't want this long. We'll do, that's just right. Okay. So let's say I do this one, the classic cover. You know, just bring it in under the pin and tape it to the back. Usually I take a picture of the card, like front and back, before I send it off, because I like to know what I'm sending people. I've sent some pretty good players before. This one here is Drew Hall of the Chicago Cubs. Some lucky person's going to get this. Well, I think that about wraps up my show and tell. I hope you enjoyed this solo Mindless Idiots. I know I did. Yeah. And if you're interested in the faux wood paneling, just shoot me an email. You know, if you want to be a guest on Mindless Idiots, please. I'd love to come in again. Always love the public access. And yeah, thanks so much, y'all. Broke it.